Hey everybody, we are here. We're running a little late, but we're here. And you'll have to, the caveat is my doors and windows are open, so it's nice outside. I live by airport, so you hear the planes going by. You might hear my neighbors out there piddling around. And it's laundry day, so we got laundry going in the back. So hopefully that's not too loud and disturbing. But March was a wild March. And again, we're on into April, and I'm just now getting a chance to play catch up. So in March, I studied about the wild woman archetype, and had a lot of fun with it. As it describes, the wild woman is wild woman. I think of out in the woods. I really, and it kind of worked out good when I initially put this together, I think of Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games as a wild woman. And when I'm digging around trying to find out wild women archetypes from mythology, film, literature, and all that, Katniss Everdeen kept coming up. So anyways, I've got my little journal for this month, a little bit about the wild woman. This one's doesn't have a lot in it. I've got a lot of blank pages. Again, I'm okay with that. Mainly because March was so busy that I really didn't have a lot of time to just study. But I have some things in here, exercises to awaken the wild woman. And it's kind of funny because I think it's true, but one of the ways it talks about is awakening the wild woman is to howl and to be loud and growl and just tap into your inner wild woman. I think that's pretty cool. One of the things it says, if there are reminders of the past that you wish to be free from, set them on fire. That was pretty cool. So anyways, I've got some different quotes about wild woman. The book Women Who Run with Wolves, that was my plan to read that for the month of March. I have the book and I will read it eventually. It's pretty in depth though, and I thought I had found it online audiobook, and I thought, okay, this is perfect, because I do better with audiobooks, especially if I'm in a time crunch. But the audiobook that I got was like 2.5 hours, so I think it was like a summary. I really don't know, and so I was a little frustrated with that. But anyways, we didn't end up reading the book, but it is a recommended book. Women Who Run with Wolves, and the wolf is the animal connection. I don't have it in here anywhere, I don't guess. But I will say this, one thing I did read, this, I guess I could correlate it. I've got the stuff printed out for my my reading journal, but I read the book called A Wolf Called Romeo. It's about a black wolf in Alaska. It's a fun little story, a sad little story, but a good story. And it talked a lot about the wolf and the wolf, the nature of the wolf and its mannerisms and things like that. And so that I'm going to tap into. That was the reading I did for Wild Woman this month. So yeah. Back to the examples. Artemis in ancient Greek mythology. Xena, warrior princess. Merida from Brave. Some of these I really didn't know. Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road. Moana from the Disney film Moana. Wonder Woman, which I don't think of her as a wild woman. I mean, she's pretty wild per se, but I think a wild woman is into nature and things like that. I think of Wonder Woman as more of like a warrior type. And she may circle around when we get to warrior and all that. But Amy Winehouse, the famous British singer, when I think of wild woman, I think of in the woods, in the wild. So that's why I used Katniss as my feature per se. Strengths and weaknesses of the wild woman we got here going on. And then signs you're a wild woman. You don't care about others expectations of you. You love asking questions. Your instincts always tell you when something is wrong. You know yourself in and out, including your flaws. You live boldly. Here's a wild woman again with a wolf. Some days I am more wolf than woman, and I am still learning how to stop apologizing for my wild. And then that brings us to, while we're here today, our center page. And I guess I probably could have printed off some more wolf pictures, but we did not. And that's okay. Got this little image here of a lady with a wolf on her head. And then we got our March tag. And then we got this quote that says, I am a wild woman. I sing from my heart. I dance with the stars. I howl at the moon. I love uncontrollably. And then for some reason I put this in here, rock out. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. Wonder if I can put it, maybe I can put it down here with Amy Wine, where it says Amy Winehouse. Wasn't she a, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I mean, I guess, so this image is from a magazine, and it was mountain climbing was the article. So maybe that's what I was thinking of, wild woman rock climbing and all that. But we're gonna go this route with it. Stick that down there. And so another thing that is pretty cool, my friend, I call her my friend, we've never met, but she's one of my YouTube friends, Priscilla over at Release the Craftin', released some divine feminine quotes, a whole page of them, and I've chopped them up. Some of them I kind of went back and added to our February journal somewhere. Where did I put these? Some of the quotes were talking about the lover. And I think I got another one in here. Yeah. And then I added a couple of them to the healer journal that we did throughout, because they were appropriate for the healer. And so I'll be using these moving forward. Thanks, Priscilla, for these cool things. I want to say they were on her Patreon, but you can find her on the YouTubes and the Patreons and the maybe not the Facebook, the Instagram, Release the Craftin', if you're interested in that. But anyways, if you're not interested in that, she's got a lot of cool stuff going on anyway. So videos and such. She does a lot of tarot card reviews, and they get me every time. So the ones that I pulled out, there was a handful of them for Wild Woman. We are nature. Our nature is wild and divine all at once. She is a wild, tangled forest with temples and treasures concealed within. Within every woman there is a wild and natural creature, a powerful force filled with good instincts, passionate creativity, and ageless knowing. This is Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote the Women Who Runs with Wolves book. So there's that. And this one's from Maya Angelou. A woman in harmony with her spirits is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself. So some Wild Women quotes. And then I've got this thing. It's just some bits from the book, from magazine scraps. So this is there's not a lot going on with this month. And again, that's okay. That is a-okay. We don't have to fill our journal up. It's part of the learning. It's kind of it gives me permission to keep learning and keep finding stuff and keeping these different archetypes in my forefront as I go through my days. It's like, oh, that's a nice quote. I could add that to the lover journal. Or, oh, that's a nice quote. I could add that to the healer journal. Or that's kind of my thinking, my thought process with this. And that's why I'm okay to leave, blank pages. So we'll just do I like this. Things are about to get wild. I feel like that needs to be up at front, though. Maybe I can do it right there. I think I'll do that. It's not the very first page, but it's up at the front. Things are about to get wild. So again, I'm kind of keeping these different, especially the three that I've learned about so far, the healer, the lover, and the wild woman. I'm kind of keeping them in my forefront when I'm doing other stuff, and I do a lot of collage and glue booking, and so I'm digging around in magazines all the time, and so it's like, oh, I see quotes or words or whatever that remind me of the different archetypes that I've been studying. So gotta get our March on here. Like I said, when I think of wild child, when I think of wild woman, I think of outside in the woods, in the wild, nature, things like that. Tapping into that, our natural wildness or whatever is what I think of. And each of these journals, I try to do a, like, somebody I think of that that reminds me of each of these archetypes. Like the healer, I did somewhere. The healer, I did my friend Anna. She's in here somewhere. There's no rhyme or reason, like areas that these are in the front or in the back or whatever, so kind of got to dig around for them. Anywho, I did a page. There's Anna. So Anna reminds me of the healer archetype, and in the lover, I pondered with it, and I come up with, and there's nothing that says I can't, but I come up with myself. So that's who I think of. I mean, I think of myself. I'm very much a lover. So for wild woman, I'm struggling with that, I'll be honest. So I don't have a page yet of who I think about as a wild woman. I'm kind of leaning towards my niece. She's very much unapologetic and does her own thing. And so I'm kind of leaning towards that. But I'm not 100% sure. So I haven't done that page, and I haven't done a page that says, I haven't done the page that talks about what I've done to tap into my wild woman. I like that, but it's too big to go across, so maybe we have to chop it down and piece it together. So I've still got a little bit of work to do on this, but I wanted to kind of get it out there and get it, I don't want to say done, but get it out there for March. I'm trying to get through March. Still in April, but I'm trying to get through March, so. April archetype is the creator, which I really feel like I'm totally a creator. As I sit here and do a mixed bag journal, collage journal page. But you know, who knows? I might find somebody. I like this adventure. Off the beaten path. Choose your own adventure. Oh. Huh. I've already done my How Did I Embrace My Wild Woman Self. Okay, cool. I was journaling about a trip that me and my daughter took. Ah. And this was, hello, Shell. I kept feeling like I had something going on, but I'd already done this. So Choose Your Own Adventure. We went on a little road trip and ended up kind of lost. We were searching for a waterfall, but we didn't find one. But we found the Mulberry Creek, and kind of walked along the rocks and all that. So that was cool. Yeah. So maybe. No, I'll put. I was thinking about using one of these images and putting it in here, but I've got this for my book journal, so my reading journal. So, ay. There's really nowhere that adventure needs to go right now. I mean, it's kind of repetitive if I put it there. I could, just plunk it down there. We can put it up here. I don't think I like it right here. And so I'm going to do this on the strength page, and I'm going to write on it. I'm going to write open to adventure, because I think that is certainly something. Open to adventure. That's a strength of a wild woman. She's open to adventure. So we've got two more little taggies. We could put one here. That goes. And does Katniss Everdeen need one? We'll put the quote about women who runs with wolves on the Katniss Everdeen one. How's that? That fits for Katniss, I think. So I think that's what we're gonna call it done. Like I said, there's a lot of blank space, but I'm okay. That gives me place to grow and continue to learn, and I'm okay with that. So that will be it for the Wild Woman for March. And like I said, next month, or this month is The Creator. The book I'm reading is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. One of my favorite authors, one of my favorite books. So if you're interested in that, be sure and check that out. But anyways, thanks for joining me on this month's archetype study. Kind of my summary of it. And I'll be back next month. We'll see you then. Bye for now.